Cooper Flagg dropping 40 last night in an overtime game with the Utah Jazz. It's Cooper Flagg was supposed to be kind of a great white hope character, and there was supposed to be some Caitlin Clark like interest in him. I don't think any of that's true. I think he's off to a good start. I think he's a promising rookie, but I think most people don't care that he's a great white American basketball player. That it's a nice little interesting story that he had 40, and he's the youngest guy to post 40 in the NBA. But something's off here. The NBA is so uncompetitive. The era is so soft that people aren't that impressed that he got 40, and maybe that they people have turned off the NBA so much they don't care that there's a great white American basketball player.
Yeah, this story is going extraordinarily underreported. I was thinking, oh, gee, I guess it's probably time for myself to make some kind of a video about Cooper Flagg because I barely talk about him either. It wasn't just last night, Jason. And again, he is still 18 years old. He graduated from high school in 3 years, so he essentially is a year ahead, kind of where he's at than where he should be. He should be a freshman in college this season. Instead, so we don't see any of these jumps from high school anymore since the NBA and college basketball enacted that minimum age requirement. You have to be 1 year removed from your graduating class. But he essentially is age-wise a direct from high school leap into the NBA. And it's not just last night, the last 7 games now, this kid is averaging 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on 55% shooting in the last 7 games now. And the Mavericks, who stink and have half their team injured, are 5-2 over that span of time in those 7 games. And this kid doesn't turn 19 till I think in 5 days is his birthday, December 21st. So he's still an 18-year-old doing this. It actually is remarkable how good this kid has been in this snapshot of time, and specifically in basically the last month or so. But like to your point, nobody really seems to care about it at all. It's like story number 12 right now in the NBA season at this point.
Why is that?
It's a great question. It could be somewhat because the Dallas Mavericks aren't that good. It could be somewhat because we're going to talk, I think, I'm not sure, I don't want to step on your toes, about the Oklahoma City Thunder and about how good they are. We have maybe a top 10 all-time NBA talent in his peak right now doing insane things in Nikola Jokic. So, I mean, there's just a ton of storylines, I feel like. And then still there is that LeBron James storyline, even when he's bad or the Lakers are bad or they're good. It doesn't really matter. He's still going to be like a massive, attention grabber and story producer. So I just feel like this kid, Cooper Flagg, who's right down there in, I think they're the 11th seed right now in the Western Conference, the 10th or 11th. So they're like fighting for that last play-in slot. I think he's just kind of been lost on how good he's been in the last month or so.
Let me and my perspective may be skewed because I had an abnormal obsession with the WNBA. But it feels like right there in Dallas with the Dallas Wings, the WNBA and ESPN were able to drum up interest in Paige Beckers. And it's almost like Paige Becker's rookie season is a bigger deal than Cooper Flagg's rookie season. And it speaks to what's wrong with ESPN, what's wrong with the NBA. Do they not know what they're doing, or have they lost the ability to drive a narrative just about someone's on court performance? That there always has to be some nepotism, famous daddy, racial angle to it. It just seems like the star making ability. Some guy that's 18 years old and is doing what he's doing, even on a bad team, it just seems like it should be driving some legitimate conversation.
I agree totally. I think, and I don't understand why it is, because he's been on the national stage for a long time. I don't follow amateur basketball very much. I'm primarily all pro, but I have known the name Cooper Flagg for like 5 years. He's the national player of the year on the high school level. He's the national player of the year at the college level, again, as basically a senior in high school. He dominated that select game in Vegas. In the preparatory game for the U.S. Dream Team this year. He played that team with a bunch of youngsters. And from what I hear from like journalists that were in the closed session, he looked like he was one of the best players on the floor already at that point when he was 17. Now he's doing this at the pro level. I just don't understand why the press isn't there. But again, I don't want to infer any kind of make any racial statement about this. But Nikola Jokic is doing things that we've never seen before. And he's been doing it for about 5 or 6 years. And still, like the NBA hasn't made that guy the center or the face of the league. Like they're still fighting against Nikola Jokic. I barely see him on national airwaves still to this day. And so he's probably going to lose another MVP this season because he doesn't have the press behind him or supporting him in the way that I think that he deserves it. So again, I don't know if you want to draw any correlations or inferences about about Cooper Flagg and Nikola Jokic, but for whatever reason, neither of those two guys get the amount of press that I think that they deserve.
You're forcing me to have other thoughts. I mean, again, it's like if Jokic or Cooper Flagg were lesbians, we'd make a big deal out of it. I mean, again, Paige Beckers, that's what makes her unique and worthy of worship, and all the commercial campaign. And maybe I'm not watching the right games or whatever, but once again, I'll say, like, the shoe companies and the product. I see Paige Beckers promoted more in commercials than I do Cooper Flagg, and and certainly that holds true. I write off the Nikola Jokic deal. Hey, he's a foreigner, and maybe they just don't want to do that. But here's an American kid that is doing things that seem to be unprecedented and seem to be pretty exciting, and he can't get any traction. It's rather mind blowing, and I think I got one of my best friends is a hardcore NBA guy, hardcore, and he thought that Cooper Flagg was going to be a super big deal. And, the black dude, his name's Willie. He thought Cooper Flagg was going to be this big deal, and they were going to ride the Great White Hope deal and kind of force him down our throat. They're not doing that.